support it 100%. We have witnessed the emotional harm that the cyberbullying has caused our daughter and want this to be prevented by the law for future victims. Our first talking point is going to address community need. The 2011 Youth Risk Behavior Surveillance Survey found that 16% of high school students, grades 9 to 12, admitted to being electronically bullied in the past year, which was stated in stopbullying.gov. And as the mother has seen what the cyberbullying does, we think that's 16% of students too many. We think we need to get this down to 0% of students being cyberbullied. In Wisconsin, there is anti-bullying laws. However, it does not directly outline cyberbullying or other forms of electronic bullying. Also, there's nothing in the current law that acknowledges the school's ability to intervene or respond to incidents of bullying that occur off school grounds. So we think within the law that it's necessary that schools should be able to act if cyberbullying occurs out of the school building, because with the advancement of technology nowadays, students can be bullied at virtually any time of the day. And if we can have schools be the first to step up instead of the government, it would keep it off their records. And if it gets too overblown for the school to handle, then turn to the government or state to handle it. And also we found from stopbullying.gov that kids who are cyberbullied are more likely to use alcohol and drugs, skip school, be willing to unattend school, receive poor grades, have lower self-esteem, and have more health problems. We saw a lot of this with our daughter. She wanted to skip more school, her grades went down, and her social life became almost non-active. So we think a law is definitely necessary.
And then is the proposed law constitutional? We believe strongly that a law prohibiting cyberbullying is necessary. If the law is crafted carefully enough, it will be passed as constitutional. As long as lawmakers are careful not to pass a law that violate any of the commandments in the Constitution, especially freedom of speech, it is possible and necessary to pass a constitutional law against cyberbullying. And emotional damage is not the worst that can happen to kids. Like, for example, Tyler Clementi, he committed suicide because of cyberbullying, according to a blog on slate.com. And then also Sam Laird has published an article in Mashable Lifestyle that 20% of kids cyberbullied think about suicide and 1 in 10 attempt it. And also as well as 4,500 kids commit suicide each year. And the Tyler Clementi case is one of the many cases in which this has occurred. We are lucky enough to have our daughter not go that way, but I'm not saying that it's going to be the case for every single kid.
So there's 4,500 kids commit suicide each year. Is that the total number of young people that take their lives each year from cyberbullying, or just
cyberbullying?
4,500 kids
just
each year.
Cyberbullying.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Talking point 3. We believe that this is a just law because it will protect people from cyberbullying and give them a way to achieve just for the damage that has been caused to the victim. We want to see Naomi and Chris punished for the actions that they have committed against our daughter. We'd like to see some responsibility from not only the state federal system, but also from the school, and a little harsher punishment.
Okay. There's other types of justice out there. Criminalizing cyberbullying. We put a law in the books, and now law enforcement can, if they think a law is broken, charge and then try, and that person has their day in court. There's different kinds of justice. So why do you favor the criminal justice method to righting a wrong over civil justice or restorative justice, which could happen at the community level, or because your daughter's in high school, the school level, that academic community? Why would a criminal law be better than sorting it out at the school level, at the community level, or better than handling it in civil courts?
Because criminalizing it, I think, adds more a note of seriousness, and as you can see, it didn't help even when the school intervened. I mean, Naomi and Chris, Naomi, first of all, she said that she didn't do it, she had no part in it, but then when the police got involved, I think, if I'm correct, then that's when she admitted it. So if we criminalize a behavior, it makes it more serious, and I think that it sort of gives these kids like a look into what their future could be like if they keep acting this way. So,
And clearly, if 4,500 kids have committed suicide because of cyberbullying this year, what's happening now is not working. Schools are not able to protect their kids right now from the cyberbullying. Something more has to be done to prevent suicides from happening.
Schools gotta come in a little harder and make it a little more serious than what it is.
Okay. I think the law deals a little bit more with what the school wouldn't be able to deal with, things outside of their jurisdiction. If it's on a different device, like I said, if they're not using the school's Wi-Fi. But the language of the law is such that if it's bad enough and it happens either in and out of the school building with or without a device that the school issues, then it would be something for law enforcement. And that's something that you're okay with. You're okay with law enforcement taking it out of the hands of the school. I mean, who better to try the case than, you know, the leaders of that academic community who work with these students every day. They know them better. Maybe they know their families, possible siblings that have come through. I mean, it seems like it's a personal attack. Cyberbullying is an attack on someone. It's a very personal thing. So why would...
Right now, the schools don't have the ability, like within some states, the law doesn't give the school the ability to act on actions that are outside of the school. If a law is made, if you want the school to be more in charge of this rather than the state, then you need to make in the law that gives schools power to act on cyberbullying that happens outside the school.
as well as the
So you want me to change the law?
Well, no, he's not saying that, he's just saying that, like, they're not able to, and as well as the fact is, like, certain things happen, like if there's like a bomb threat or some kids attempting to like shoot up a school or something, when the threat gets serious enough, the school passes it over to the police. So in this kind of thing, I mean, this person's life is, if there's a rift in their social life or they're not able to get up and they don't want to go to school in the morning, that's not okay. And that is when the police need to get involved, because it's important that for the person's livelihood that they're protected and that they feel like they can go into this like social, I guess, condition every day and feel all right. It's not okay, and that's why the police needs to be involved.
Okay. So, you've touched on why this might be better than restorative justice, but haven't quite touched on civil.
Well, I mean, yes.
You wouldn't be okay with being awarded damages for
I mean, but it
sort of...
doesn't seem like it's working that way, because even though they'll come together and they'll try and sort of find a solution for this.
Well, this would be, you know, kind of sorted out in front of a judge and a jury, unless they waive the jury, and that would be a bench trial, but there'd still be a judge.
Would it be in front of the whole community, or would it be just between the school and their parents, and like the people involved, or what kind of setup would it be?
Speedy public trial, which means free. Sixth Amendment means, well, Seventh Amendment deals with civil trials, but yeah, this would be public, it would be of public record, so there would be some recognition of this is what happened. I mean, the courts are funded by the taxpayer, so any business done in the court would be of public record. So
I mean,
that wouldn't be enough for you guys?
Something needs to change based on the law, because clearly what's happening right now is it's not working. If all these facts are true, this isn't working.
Well, why isn't it working? We have laws in the books that deal with threats that are made, with stalking and harassment. All of those things, given the language of this act of cyberbullying, could fall under any of those three categories. So why would we need another law on the books?
Because kids don't look under those other laws. They think stalking, you have to literally watch the person walk block for block. They don't understand that it can happen in other ways, and this law would bring those other ways under one law, so they would understand, so they would put it in their minds,
Okay.
so they would set it straight.
So you like the law as is?
Needs to be clarified.
No, it needs to be clarified.
What needs to be clarified?
Exactly what cyberbullying is. It can't just say bullying. It has to
Have
be.
like a
there
set
needs
of
to be-
conditions, so like.
It has to be
On
specific.
electronic.
It has to be specifically on cyberbullying. It can't just be a general term as bullying. It has to be specifically focusing on cyberbullying.
Okay. So you're happy with the law as it is, you don't think it needs to go any farther, you don't think it goes too far?
We, needs to go farther, there's too many loopholes for people to.
And we think there
So
needs
you're
to
arguing for me passing the law, but I'm saying just in regard to the law itself, you're okay with the law as it is, you don't think it needs to go farther, or you?
No, we're saying there needs to be a more specific law, focus on cyberbullying with specific, consequences for their actions.
Right now, there are anti-bullying laws, but cyberbullying is so new that there's not a law in place or anything, and we would like to push that towards seeing.
And with technology gonna be advancing more and more, it's just gonna get worse if it's not stopped now. It's gonna expand, it's gonna get worse, and these numbers are gonna rise. So we think there needs to be specific consequences for actions for kids such as Naomi and Chris for what they've done.
Round of applause for Mrs. Brown.